Oh, hello guys, welcome back. So I'm feeling pretty decent. I still got like a slightly elevated temperature, not like I think full-blown fever, but other than that, I'm feeling pretty good. Hopefully by the time you see this tomorrow, I'll be completely okay. But I've noticed something with, we get a lot of Christians on the channel, a lot of people that are, transitioning over from Christianity, or they still want to be Christian, they want to work with Norse gods, specifically Loki. And the thing is, with coming over from a religion like that, that's very black and white, there is, for one, they don't see any other god, and they see good and evil. That's how they see the whole world. And coming over to spirituality, where, we don't see our gods as good and evil, we just see all the gods of capable of good actions, mostly good actions. But yeah, sometimes, at least in the stories, we don't understand why they did stuff, so we say bad actions too. They can do whatever they want. It doesn't mean that they're bad or they're dangerous. It just it means it's not like we have the good gods on this side and the bad gods on that side. All of our gods are equally good. Yeah. And sometimes I'll notice people that are attracted to Loki because they think he's like our version of Satan, and he's not. He's not this evil trickster figure that lives underground and has fiery pits or something like that, or whatever you were taught about Satan in your church. He's not like that, and a lot of stuff has been just coming up for me lately with the gods. One thing, most gods aren't jealous. Yes, a god can leap into the middle and want all your attention. But at the end of the day, they don't care how many gods you love. They don't care how many gods you love, and I've been doing the faith walk thing with Loki and saying, I think what holds us back is we think we have to, a lot of us still have that Christian mindset that we have to find the one God, right? The one God, and we can have a lot of gods, but we have to find that one God. And that is the one we have to have all the faith in, all the hope in, of getting good things from and everything else. But, often what you'll find on your pagan path is you might have a main deity, but, you might find out, like, let's say your main deity's Loki, you might find out that the one you always trust to come through is Odin, or, say, Hermes, or anyone else. You might have no main deities. You might have a deity that you always trust to come through for you, but it might not be your main deity, and that's not a failing in your faith. The human heart works the way it does. I trust and love Loki, but as I'm growing closer with Frigg and I'm growing closer with Freya and some of the other ones, I just keep looking at him, even though I know better. I look at him for that reassurance that yes, it's okay to, and this is kind of today's message, it's okay to have not only more than one god when you're pagan, you can have all the gods, but including the god you grew up with. But you have to put away that idea, that very Christian idea, that you must depend on your main deity and your main deity only, and you can only talk to these other gods a little bit. You can talk to all the gods. You can rely on all the gods. Some of us grew up in crazy home lives or whatever else we had, and for a lot of us, it's reassuring to have a lot of gods and to be able to go talk to whatever god we need to talk to that day. And I find different gods address different things in my life. I can have deep talks with Thor that I can't have with anyone else. Odin has talks with me no one else can. Same thing for Loki, same thing for Frigg or Freya or anyone else. And it's okay to have different gods that touch different parts of your life. I know there are some Lokeans that, they kind of treat Lokean as a replacement for Christianity. And I'm saying that because they take Lokeanism, basically make it into monotheism. The only Loki, only Loki. Maybe Sigyn, maybe, they go for whoever they feel is related to him. Um, and that shuts off a whole bunch of gods from your life, which, Loki wouldn't want. And it's good for you to develop relationships with all the gods, with Aesir, Vanir, Jotnar, whoever you want to develop relationships with. And like I said, if you ever come to peace with your old god, that's fine. Though your old god knows that the moment you come to peace with him and you see a wonderful bit of news, Then you scroll down, you read the comments section, and you sign, you go, yep, we're still not good. And your God's like, I totally understand. We saw something about the first openly trans bishop, and this should be a cause of celebration for a lot of people. But the hateful, intolerant ones had to come out of the woodwork. And I said, I don't see how people can claim to follow a loving God and, embrace hate and say hateful things. Do they not hear the words coming out of their mouth? And yet they're hateful and they're mean. And, it kind of, gave me some stuff to think about because how these conservative people dress. They dress and they dress like they're so holy and they're pure and they're God's children. And lovable old grandmas holding these signs filled with hate about how they hate this pastor because they are trans. And I was like, wow. you know every time I think I'm at peace with who, I'm like, I see stuff like that and I just shake my head. But these people don't speak for their God either. We have to remember that. But it was remarkable that preacher bishop actually went through all that and went through a lot of hate and intolerance and ended up becoming a bishop, being drawn closer to their God, where most people that went through that end up either becoming agnostic, atheist, pagan. you know so it's okay to have many gods. It's okay to have many gods that you touch base with. It's okay to go back to your old gods, but you do have to take some of the Christian baggage and leave it outside. You do. Once you have left the possibility of having one God and one God only, and you're starting to talk to other gods, that's when you start to say, okay, if I'm going to keep doing this, I have to put away this having only one God baggage because obviously this isn't working for me. And I have to put away this just relying on one God thing, because obviously if you're talking to multiple gods, you would like to interact with, work with, love, and be taken care of by multiple gods, which is fine. That's how humans were for the most part of history. So, it is okay. It will be okay. It's confusing for a lot of us right now because I think a lot of us are getting weird pings from all the gods. And just when you think you've, say, gone back home or you've completed your transition and you're fully pagan or whatever is going on, something else happens. But I'm just getting, from all the gods and from Loki especially, they don't want us to be intolerant. They don't want us to be gatekeepers. They don't want us to sit there and say, you can't come in because of the color of your skin. You can't come in because you're poor. You're homeless. You're too rich. Whatever gatekeeping people are doing, the color of your skin, your religious background, whatever. But it does mean that when people do come in, they do have to realize that if you're coming into a pagan community, if you're coming into work with pagan gods, you have to leave, you do have to leave the Christian baggage outside. It's not us, gatekeeping. It's not us not being fair. It's something like the idea that there's only one true God. You kind of, to be able to work with more than God, one God, you have to leave that outside. The idea of Loki being some kind of devil figure, any of these gods being devils, you have to definitely leave that outside. So we hope you guys like that. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye.